The hotly contested presidential debate just passed touched on the economy, race, national security, but not a word on the so-called culture war issues of abortion, gay marriage, religious freedom. Tuesday night, though, the vice presidential candidates will take the stage for their only debate. Indiana Governor Mike Pence is much more of a social conservative than Donald Trump. Can we expect that those issues will come up when Pence faces off against Virginia Senator Tim Kaine? He's a Roman Catholic, but is in favor of abortion. Let's talk about it with Doug Schoen, co-author of the new book, Putin's Master Plan to Destroy Europe, Divide NATO, and Restore Russian Power and Global Influence. He's also a former advisor to both Bill Clinton and Michael Bloomberg, and a Fox News contributor. Brad Blakeman is also with us, former deputy assistant to President George W. Bush. One article covering the question of what's going to come up at the vice presidential debate, Doug, said that the culture wars are dead and that it's not an issue. These issues that I just mentioned are not going to be discussed by the vice presidential candidates. Do you agree?
Well, I'm not sure that that's the case. Look, Mike Pence, as you correctly point out, John, is a social conservative. Donald Trump has been all over the lot on issues like abortion, has a lot of downside. I think Mike Pence is more likely to drive those issues, but in the context of Supreme Court judges that Trump and Pence would pick versus those that Secretary Clinton and Tim Kaine would arguably pick. But I don't think the culture wars are dead in American politics. They may be on a temporary hiatus. Tune in next week, and I think we'll see them come to the fore.
These issues have been a big part of past elections.
Absolutely.
You know, Bill Clinton, Brad, instituted Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and, you know, now we've got a military with all sorts of people in it. Should these issues come up, I mean, if you were advising, say, Mike Pence, would you tell him to be ready to defend some of the traditional values and other similar things in this country?
I would tell him to certainly be ready for it, but don't dwell on it. Here's why. During the selection process, who's going to be the party nominee is typically when the social issues are hashed out, and then at the convention we have a platform. In a general election, it's more about bread and butter issues. If this issue of gay marriage or abortion is not going to be the defining factor on who's going to be our next president, I'll tell you what will be is the economy and taxes and health care and our national security. So Mike Pence should not be baited into a social argument. Remember, vice presidential debates, you can do a lot of harm, but the idea is to help your candidate and not get bogged down in issues that are not going to be determinative.
So you're suggesting that because we're past the primary season, we're sort of past those issues in terms of developing the party nominee?
Yes, John, because we know historically what is on the American people's mind when they enter the booth. And typically, it's the number one issue is the economy. And certainly now, if there is a social issue, it's the unrest in this country and disunity under the Obama administration. I think that is a key issue that maybe Pence should touch on, is that a Trump-Pence ticket is going to unite America, something that Obama could not do.
But, Doug, Republicans nominated Donald Trump, a guy who is not known for conservative views on a lot of issues. Does that suggest that those issues are not front and center for the party anymore?
Well, they may not be front and center for the Republicans, but for Democrats, and particularly in their efforts to appeal to millennials, I think as the final 5 weeks of the election campaign play out, you'll see Secretary Clinton and Mike Pence appealing to the choice position, support for gay marriage, legalization of marijuana, certainly on a medicinal basis. I think you'll see those appeals made because, as Brad, I think, effectively acknowledges, the Republicans don't really have much of an argument to voters under 40, particularly women, other than the economy.
We'll have to leave it there.
Thank you.
Doug Schoen, Brad Blakeman.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.